Yo, what's good, YouTube? Zam Crow here, aka Scoot, back with the Ninamori Nation Draft League, and we've got our Season 3, Week number 5 match here, and we're taking on Rosa, and the Richmond Roserades. So pretty frightening squad here, as you can see on screen. That's Mega Latius, Keldeo, Tyranitar, Spiritomb, Amoonguss, Aromatisse, Licky, Excadrill, Combuskin, Volbeat, Tornadus Therian, and Golem. So I see right off the Combuskin and Volbeat, so there's some kind of baton pass shenanigans going on here. And then there's like Calm Mind Laddie, Keldeo, Dragoness, Tyranitar. Some nice setup options there. He's got Trick Room Essence to the squad as well. And then Tornadus Therian is a, I don't know why it's at the bottom, but it's a huge threat. Huge threat there. And quite the matchup here. Licky was fantastic for us last season, and looks to be fantastic all the time. Wish Protect, very annoying. It's got Swords Dance, Curse, all kinds of weird shenanigans that Licky can do. So it's really scary. And then Amoonguss there, always throwing off those spores and potentially paralyzing or putting something to sleep. Very annoying. Potentially poisoning something with the Sludge Bomb or something like that could be very annoying as well. Could be regen, probably is regen. Could be Assault Vest, could be Black Sludge, mixed defense, defensive, whatever. Lots of nice energy on the squad though. Like I mentioned with Licky, he's also got Aromatisse with Wish and Wish passing shenanigans into things like Tyranitar, Mega Latias, Excadrill, so on and so forth. Could be very annoying. Speaking of Excadrill, he's got Tyranitar and Excadrill, the infamous Sandcore. Very threatening there as well. With Sandrush Excadrill though, my Rotom checks that pretty well. Skarmory checks that pretty well. So I'm not too afraid of that. I'm not sure if he would even bring that. But yeah, lots of threats on both sides of the field. Speaking of both sides of the field, let's talk about my squad. We've got the Mew, Mega Excadrill, Mega Pinsir, Zeraora, Rotom Wash, Floette, Eternal, Skarmory, Dredagon, Breloom, Alolan Persian, and the Drifloon, where our Z-move users are Mew, Alolan Persian, and the Drifloon. And my opponent's Z-move users are Tyranitar and Aromatisse. I'm not sure that I mentioned that, actually. I know that I didn't mention that now. Anyways, we've got not a terrible matchup, not a great matchup, but it's kind of fair on both sides of the field. I feel like my defense halts his offense a lot more, but his offense pressures my defense a lot more than my offense pressures his, if that makes sense. Anyways, we've decided to bring Mew, Mega Pinsir, Zeraora, Rotom Wash, Skarmory, and Alolan Persian, where our Mew will be a sub-toxic variant with Roost and Psyshock. I'm mono Psyshock versus a team with Tyranitar, yes I know, but I do have sub on this bad boy so that I can prevent being pursuit trapped. And if it comes down to it, I could also scout the Tyranitar's speed and stuff like that. See if he's outspeeding my Mew. I can potentially poison it and then Roost stall it a little bit. The Psyshock is there because this allows me to take on Keldeo a lot better. Even a Calm Mind variant won't beat this Mew. Of course, he could be sub Calm Mind. That's true. He could be taunt on Keldeo as well to prevent my Mew from doing any kind of shenanigans. But it's fine as long as I just click Psyshock. It's no big deal. I could potentially try to Roost up first. It depends on the scenario, though, I suppose. Anyways, very Spadef invested. I've got a little bit of defense investment as well. Allows me to take hits from Excadrill pretty comfortably. Nothing too crazy. Obviously, I don't want to stay in anyway because I have nothing else to hit Excadrill with. But if it come down to it, and then got the Psyshock, like I mentioned, hits his entire team outside of the Tyranitar and Spiritomb for at least neutral damage, except the Excadrill. So not too bad. It could be better, but this is the set we're going to be rocking with. So next up we've got Mega Pinsir, which is an Adamant variant. I believe we've got this thing set to outpace an Excadrill outside of sand, perhaps like just a Jolly variant. Anyways, Adamant Max Attack allows us to do the most damage output. We have Return and Quick Attack as our main two moves for priority, and just general stab. And then Close Combat is our coverage move of choice. It hits the Excadrill, it hits the Tyranitar, both for super effective damage. It hits the Golem for super effective damage. That's his only 3 resistances to my flying stabs, so just having Close Combat on there is really nice. Substitute is my last move, move of choice, because I can sub up on potential switch outs for Amoonguss. I would rather sub up versus an Amoonguss as opposed to Swords Dancing up, as all my moves will 2-hit KO or OHKO anyway, so I don't really need a Swords Dance. And a sub will allow me to force, like, say I force Amoonguss or Keldeo out and then sub up, and then it forces things like whatever his response may be, Golem, Excadrill, Tyranitar, his Lottie, Licky, whatever his answer may be, it forces them to break my sub whilst taking an attack, and then having to take another attack, or seeing me respond accordingly depending on what his check may be. Anyways, yeah, Mega Pinsir can really open the holes for our next Pokemon, which is Zeraora. This thing has an amazing speed tier, comfortably outpacing Tornadus Therian with an adamant nature, and we've got Plasma Fist, Close Combat, pretty self-explanatory there. Plasma Fist hits his entire squad for at least, well, not really for neutral, but unimmune outside of Excadrill, which Close Combat hits. Close Combat also blocks the Tyranitar from full, bar like a Chople Berry variant or something like that. Same thing for Excadrill. A Chople Berry variant could be very nice. However, I do have Fire Punch as well. Could hit the Excadrill if I, feel like he may be Chople, or if he's in Fire Punch range anyway. I don't expect him to be Aqua Berry. And then that also hits the Amoonguss, and is the reason I'm bringing the Fire Punch, is because of the Amoonguss. And then our last move is Throat Chop, and that is for the Mega Lottie. It can 2-hit KO after Stealth Rocks depending on his set, which is really nice. With an Expert Belt, this thing really puts in the work, so hopefully they can come through. Next up, we've got Rotom Wash, getting into our defensive core now. We've got a Calm variant, a very Spadef Rotom Wash here. Takes on the Keldeo decently, can take a hit from Amoonguss if I have to, but mostly here for the Hurricane, from the Hurricane Tornadus Therian. Can Volt Switch out on that. Got the Hydro Pump there, can hit Excadrill obviously with the Hydro Pump, and if he is a Sand Rush variant, then his Mold Breaker ability won't be into play, and I will levitate above his Earthquakes and take resisted damage from his Iron Heads, quad resisted, mind you. We got the Toxic on there too to catch the Lottie upon switch in, to catch Keldeo upon switch in potentially as well. I don't necessarily see a Keldeo switching in on a Rotom, but he could pick, predict a Hydro Pump. Say he's got an Excadrill in, he could predict the Hydro Pump and go into his Keldeo and go from there. He could Calm Mind or something like that. And Protect is our last move. Stalls turns of Sand. It also allows me to scout Amoonguss to see if it's going for Spore and things like that. Next up, we've got Skarmory. Skarmory is a Spadef variant as well. Careful Nature, Max HP, Max Spadef, a little bit of a defense investment. Stealth Rock, Brave Bird, Whirlwind, and Roost is our move set. Thought about running Iron Head, but I felt like Brave Bird was better. I felt like Keldeo was more of a threat than Tyranitar is. And being matched up against Amoonguss, it's always nice to have Stab on more than one Pokemon to try to take that down, and that's what we have here on the Skarmory. So I can Whirlwind out Tyranitars if they're Dragon Dancing, Calm Mind, Lottie. Obviously he could taunt me with Keldeo, but a tauntless Keldeo can be Whirlwinded as well. It can burn turns of Sand, can burn turns of Trick Room, all kinds of cool things here with Skarmory. Very reliable. Roost for longevity, and Stealth Rock, like I mentioned, designated Stealth Rocker. Need my Stealth Rocks up, I can hit everything with a 2-hit KO with my Mega Pinsir and my Zeraora, which is really nice. Last but not least, we have the Alolan Persian. A jolly natured Alolan Persian allows us to outpace the Mega Lottie. Max HP with Protect, Taunt, Parting Shot, and Knockoff. Knockoff is there to get rid of items. I know Keldeo and Tyranitar or taking nothing from knockoff, but getting rid of their items is really nice. Bar Tyranitar having like a Z move, and then I can parting shot on whatever he has in. I outpace his entire squad outside of Tornadus Therian, and I can protect on Tornadus Therian to see if he has taunt and things like that before I try to just parting shot or something. Allows me to know if I can just hard switch into my Rotom Wash if that's the mandatory procedure there. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty much the matchup. The things that can be scary is like him baton passing a Tail Glow from Volbeat into something like Tornadus Therian, and having like potentially a Salic Berry so that he outpaces everything. Same thing for Keldeo. If it was to be a Salic Berry sub Calm Mind Salic Berry variant and got a Tail Glow passed into it, that could be very, very problematic. And that's just something we don't want to deal with. Anyways, oh yeah, very annoying for my team is Sand, but like I said, I've got Rotom and Skarmory that can deal with that pretty well. But Among Us putting anything to sleep is very annoying as well. I thought about safety goggles on my Skarmory, ultimately decided that Leftovers was a little bit better, and thought about running Taunt on Skarmory as well, but Licky Licky has the Oblivious ability, so not something that I wanted to do there. I guess I do have it on a Alolan Persian, so if he's not Oblivious, I could hit him up with a Taunt, maybe scout for that in the game or something like that. Anyways, that's going to be the prep, and we can go ahead and hop into the replay and see what actually goes on here. Alright, so here we are with the replay, and Rosa has decided to bring the Megalotti, Amoonguss, Tornadus Therian, a Golem, Aromatisse, and the Licky Licky. So, looks like he could have some potential Trick Room here with Aromatisse and the Golem. He's got still, you know, a team that can function outside of Trick Room as well, such as the Megalotti, Tornadus Therian, Licky Licky, and Amoonguss doing their thing. So, it'd be interesting to see how he wants to play this. I noticed that he has only one potential Stealth Rocker in this matchup, so Golem has to be a Stealth Rocker if he decides to bring Rocks. And I do have Mega Pinsir, so I am inclined to think he's got Rocks. Speaking of Mega Pinsir has been a premier Stealth Rocker for me this season. And I say that with giggles because it's, I got Bach trying to get my Rocks up. But I did get my Rocks up, thank you. And we're actually bringing Rocks on Skarmory. And Skarmory could be a Taunt variant, so I don't expect him to lead with Golem. I don't expect him to lead with Aromatisse either, thanks to Skarmory being such a good lead with Taunt. I could also lead with Skarmory versus Tornadus Therian, but I do have to scout for Heat Wave. All that being said, I felt like I didn't want Amoonguss to lead with, you know, Spore, and I didn't want to lead with Alolan Persian and taunt him, because he could lead with Tornadus Therian and just taunt me and then you turn out, or click Hurricane, or taunt me and then you turn out into Aromatisse and then start doing annoying things. So I felt like I'm going to lead off with Mega Pinsir to prevent, you know, Amoonguss from doing any kind of weird shenanigans. But he actually leads off with his Tornadus Therian. And Tornadus Therian is a huge threat, so I'm going to hard switch out to my Rotom Wash, and I can force his switch out here. He does U-turn, and I can just go for the Volt switch out into whatever I want, really. He brings in his Megalotti here, and I can bring in my Alolan Persians, see what, you know, what kind of plays are going to be made here. And I parting shot out on the Tornadus Therian, switch in, and go into my Zero Aura. And what I can do here is just click Close Combat, expecting the Golem to come in. However, the Amoonguss comes in, takes almost no damage from the Close Combat here, but I can see that Fire Punch will do a decent amount later on in the match, so I'm okay with that. I'll hard switch out to my Skarmory. It covered Toxic, it covered Sludge Bomb, it covered Giga Drain. I get my Rocks up here. Tornadus Therian comes in and just defogs my Rocks away, and I do go hard into my Rotom Wash. As the Tornadus Therian U-turns out, I can just Volt Switch, but I'm actually going to throw off a Toxic on this turn. And I finally catch the Megalotti here, and now I'm in a pretty decent position here, as I can just hard switch out into Skarmory. Once again, as the Licky Licky comes in, I'm going to get up my Stealth Rocks, as the Licky reveals to be a Cleric variant and just clicks Heal Bell. And now it's going to try to throw off a Wish. I do taunt it with, I do knock its item off with Alolan Persian. as the body slam comes in here. It's going to pair me, unfortunately. I should still be faster though, and I'm going to click taunt in case he's not oblivious. It is oblivious though, and it does get its wish off. However, I did get the item gone, and now I can spam knockoff once again, or just parting shot out. And it does give me the advantage here as I go back into my Zero Aura, and I kind of force this thing to take a Plasma Fist here, or a close combat. And I do go for the close combat once again, expecting the Golem. I'm not going for the end game yet, but I am trying to get Golem in range. So that's why I keep going for close combat over any other move. However, the Mega Lottie comes in here, and I can just click the Throat Chop here and try to catch him off guard. And it does just that, and I get rid of the Mega Lottie, huge threat gone, and now he brings in the Golem. So now I'm going to hard switch out into my Skarmory. Kind of a no-brainer for me, as the double into Amoonguss is made, and I can understand that play, but fortunately for me it didn't really matter, as I can just hard switch into my Alolan Persian here on the Spore, prevent anything from being put to sleep. But I do get poison from the Sludge Bomb. Unfortunate, but now Mega Pinsir can just throw off a huge attack here. I am just going to go for the Frustration, I believe. No reason to over predict at this point. In comes the Golem, and what I can do is weaken the Golem for the Zero Aura. But I'm actually able to knock it out with Mega Pinsir, so I was really happy about that. Down goes the Golem. In comes the Tornadus Therian. Not quite in range of Quick Attack yet. After one round of rocks, I do hard switch into my Rotom. I can force out the switch once again, and in comes the Aromatisse here, as I do just Volt Switch out. No reason to over predict once again. And now I'm going to bring in my Mew. I can sub up on this thing, sub Toxic, and it does reveal to be Trick Room. So thankfully I do, I did go for sub, which allows me to burn turns of Trick Room quicker. Well, not necessarily quicker, but easier, and with taking the least amount of damage as possible. So he's spamming Moonblast here, as my Skarmory takes no damage. I didn't want Mew to take the damage, and Mew had already landed the Toxic, so I was pretty comfortable at this point. However, I do get paralyzed. This is good and bad. I can't be spored by Amoonguss anymore, meaning I can just roost up and then start Brave Bird. I don't have to worry about being put to sleep or anything like that. However, in comes the Licky Licky, goes for the Hill Bell once again, gets rid of the Toxic on the Aromatisse there. I am going to go for the Whirlwind. In comes the Amoonguss, so nothing's going to catch the Wish, and I can just hard switch into my Mew here, as a phenomenal play is made. Goes for the Toxic there, and that's really bad for me. With Mew being poisoned, I have a hard time breaking Amoonguss now. While I do still have Mega Pinsir, I am poisoned, and if he was to be able to, I can't hard switch in on Amoonguss again. I can't hard switch in on anything actually, unless I wanted to be really ballsy and come in on a Wish from Licky Licky, or a U-turn from Tornadus Therian, something like that. But I don't want to risk that. So Mega Pinsir and Mew are my best ways of knocking out Amoonguss, or at least weakening it for Zero Aura. But the thing with weakening an Amoonguss is it has the ability Regenerator. So no matter how much you weaken it, it can always switch out and get its health back. Really unfortunate for me. So I'm going to hard switch into my Mega Pinsir here. But in comes the Tornadus Therian as well. So I just keep getting caught with all these switches, and I got to hard switch out into my Rotom once again. He misses the Hurricane, but it would have bounced off anyway. Could have potentially confused me, I suppose. I'm going to Volt Switch once again as the Licky Licky comes in. I go back into my Mega Pinsir, and I'm just going to click Close Combat here. No reason for me to over predict, and he doesn't have a Frustration switch in, so I didn't really see him switching out there. So now he's got a decision to make. Brings back in his Tornadus Therian. I'm not going to just let it knock me out. I do go out into my Rotom as he U-turns out. Brings back in the Aromatisse, and now I've got more Trick Room shenanigans to worry about. And I'm going to throw off a Toxic here. He's lost his Hill Bell user, so throwing off a Toxic there was a fine play for me. I can go into my Zero Aura here and spam Plasma Fist. He brings in the Amoonguss. It's getting chipped little by little, and will eventually be in range of my Zero Aura. It's going to run out of Regenerator, things like that. So he reveals Taunt, and I can't toxic the Tornado Therian. A little bit sucky for me. It would have been nice to put that thing on a timer as well. I do hard switch into my Zero Aura and get confused here off the Hurricane. A little bit unfortunate for me, but I am able to land my Plasma Fist, so I didn't get confused there. Didn't hit myself, thankfully. And I'm just going to hard switch out to my Alolan Persian. What this allows me to do is Parting Shot, which is really nice for me, and I can sack Mega Pinsir if he stays in, or depending on what he does here. Unfortunately, I get paralyzed. A little bit unfortunate for me, and is able to get rid of the rocks there with the Tornado Therian on the defog. I am going to hard switch into Zero Aura, predicting the taunt, and the taunt is revealed. So I'm going to go for Fire Punch here. I had to make a prediction, and I catch the Amoonguss upon switch in, and that was a really nice play for me. I could not only did I get huge damage off on Amoonguss, I now know how much damage Fire Punch will do. So despite him getting the Regenerator back, I know it's a 2-hit KO if he ever tries to switch in on me again. And depending on what range he's at, Plasma Fist into Fire Punch may knock him out. So it just depends. Here, I can just knock out this Roserades here. But he does decide to save it, so that's fine play there. I'm going to hard switch back out into my Mew again. Like I said, I don't want to risk it just yet with my Zero Aura. I go for the Toxic there, predicting his switch out into the Tornado Therian. Unfortunately, stayed in there with that Amoonguss, and he's chipping me down little by little. I'm going to hard switch into Skarmory here. I didn't want the Toxic to build up too much. I don't want anything put to sleep, and I'm able to, bring in my rocker, get my rocks back up, and then I can actually threaten the Amoonguss with Brave Bird. Unfortunately, I get paralyzed here. My opponent finally switches out into his Tornado Therian. Takes a decent chunk from a critical hit there. Fortunately for my opponent, he will be able to just U-turn out and get his Regenerator back. Unfortunate crit there still, nonetheless. In comes the Roserades. It's actually going to drop to the Brave Bird, which is really nice for me. Brings back in his Tornado Therian, and he goes for the Hurricane. I suppose just trying to confuse me, catch me with the paras and things like that. He does defog the rocks away. Unfortunately, I do break through on this turn, and I am able to knock out the Tornado Therian. And now, Skarmory here can 1v1 this Amoonguss. Can knock him out with Brave Bird. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to Brave Bird once. I get fully paralyzed there, a little bit unfortunate. I'm going to try to Brave Bird here, get some nice chip damage off there. Does well over half. Puts him in range of Zero Aura. So what I'm actually going to do here is pull a switch into Zero Aura. Even after the Giga Drain damage and recovery, Black Sludge recovery, he is in range of Fire Punch, and I'm able to knock him out here. So finally, nice 63 turn battle. These battles have been really great this season. We pick up the win now. A nice 5-0 victory as well. Does us well after, that two game down streak we had versus Ginger and Rio. Coming back with 2 strong wins over A1 and now Rosa as well. So good game, Rosa. Good luck the rest of the season. And yeah, let me know what you guys thought about the prep and the plays on both sides of the field. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.